Welcome to episode 9 of the Connecticut Wedding Channel. My name is Jim Collins, and I'm the owner of Collins Entertainment. Every week, we chat with Connecticut vendors who offer help to couples who are overwhelmed about the process of hiring their vendors. Today on the show, we have Lisa Antonecchia from Creative Concepts by Lisa. Lisa is a wedding and event planner whose business is located in Hamden, Connecticut. Her creative and innovative style, combined with her boundless energy and integrity, provides you with a fresh approach to planning. Lisa, thanks for being on the show.
Well, good morning, Jim, and thank you so much for having me on today.
Good morning to you. I would love to find out, and I'm sure engaged couples would too, how you help couples alleviate any stress that they have about planning their wedding day.
So what I like to tell any couple that calls me is no two couples' needs are the same. So I really want to listen to what their concerns are, where they are in their process, because everybody comes to me at a different moment in time during their planning process. So I want to hear them, and I want to make sure that whatever I am doing for them is tailored specifically to their needs. A lot of couples today are getting married a little bit older. We don't have as many couples in their early 20s, and a lot of the couples are 30s and 40s today, and they have high stress jobs. They own their homes, they have real, integrated lives together already. So when they come to me, for example, I'll have clients that are not allowed to use their phones or their internet during the day while they're at work. So how can they possibly be working with their vendors and their venue to get things done? So the trends are changing, but I think the best thing I can do for them is to listen to their specific needs and then help to make something happen for them that makes it a less stressful and a more joyous event.
And I think a lot of brides are going through all these different ideas about making sure that things go smoothly for them. So a lot of what if this happens? And I'm sure you help alleviate any of that stress and assure them that things are going to be fine and you're taking care of it as well.
Absolutely. A perfect example of that, Jim, is, for example, transportation. A lot of couples today are setting up buses or vans to ensure that their guests get to and from their church or their venue safely and don't have to drive at the end of the evening. Last year I had a wedding with over 200 guests staying at 2 different hotels. They had to go over an hour drive to the ceremony and then an additional 45 minutes back to the venue, and then the end of the night back to the 2 hotels. So my team actually stationed at both hotels. I was at the ceremony location, and we literally communicated how many people were on the buses, when the buses were leaving. So we really do take care of every detail, because we don't want the bride sitting there concerned that her 200 guests, most of which aren't even from the United States, don't even get to her ceremony on time. So we want to make sure that they're well taken care of. Right now, I have 9 different people that work with me as needed, and they are hired on based on the size of your event. So for an event of 200 people, it would definitely be me plus 2 people, if not more, depending on the specific needs. I also bring in yearly interns through many of the local colleges. So kids that are looking to work in hospitality and tourism can also intern with me throughout the year too. So you may have 2 interns and 2 staff members and myself. So it's a really great opportunity to ensure, again, that all of your needs are being met.
So how many hours on average are you devoting to assisting couples in the planning prior to their wedding day?
So that's an interesting question too, and again, can kind of evolve depending on each couple's needs. I have 3 standard packages, but they, again, evolve based on each couple. So the first package is called Full Service and Design and Planning. And in that package, basically, if you need me, I'm there. So that package can be an insane amount of hours, to be quite frank. But then we go into what's called our partial planning package. The main difference with that is I don't have to go with you to every single meeting. So with the full planning, I am there with you at every meeting, with every vendor, with your venue, at your dress shop. I've gone and picked out tuxedos. I've done it all. With the partial planning, I connect you to all those amazing people and vendors within the industry, but I don't necessarily have to go with you. So that saves me a little bit of time. Then there's what we call month of event coordination. And a lot of couples will refer to that as day of coordinator. A lot of the event planners in the industry are shying away from that at this point. With all the do-it-yourself couples, it's really hard to come in the day of an event and say, oh, look, here's all this stuff, and I don't know anything about it.
Right.
So I actually come in 60 days before your wedding and make sure all of your contracts are set up properly, that we have everything that you need, make sure everything is nice and smooth, and then I go in at the very end, and of course I'm there the day of. So that's the smallest package. And I would think that one ranges about 60 to 80 hours, but the other ones are pretty unlimited as far as time goes.
Wow, and I would have no idea that it would involve that many hours for the planning.
And it really does, because every question imaginable comes our way. And it's our job to find out the answer as quickly as possible, and or the solution as quickly as possible.
From an entertainment perspective, we're doing a lot of pre-planning as well. So on average, we're spending about 40 plus hours,
I
planning
believe that
their event
for
with
sure.
all the details of the scripting, talking to the wedding party about toasts in advance, where to stand when they're giving their toasts, how to end their toast. And so a lot of, helpful tips for members of the wedding party, and a lot of scripting, music programming, things along those lines. So a lot of devotion is taken for the entertainment as well. What is your process for, speaking of vendors, other vendors, what's your process for working with other vendors for the couple's wedding day?
So that's a great question. So if they're working with someone from my preferred vendor list, which is really extensive, I have over 12 pages of local vendors that I refer out. And I love having a huge variety of people, because everybody's price point is different. Everybody's sense of style is different. So you want to make sure that you're bringing together the best team possible. So when I tell people we are a team, I really want them to understand that. So if I've never met you before and we're brand new to working together, I immediately reach out and say, hello, I want to get together with you before the wedding. We sit down, I come to your space or you come to mine, we have a cup of coffee and we go over our own processes so that no one feels like they're being left out of the process. I have for my clients, for example, an entertainment sheet, which is very similar to what a lot of DJs have for their clients. If I can get that filled out for you in advance and shoot an email over to you so you have some of that information prior to sitting down, I feel like it gets you ahead of the game,
Sure.
and I think the same way that you do as well. I'll remind the couples, tell your best man and your maid of honor when they're giving a toast to remember to say, so raise a glass and toast. Because how many times have we all sat there and no one has said anything and the toast just ends? So I think it's super important from the vendor perspective that we're all a team, and our main goal is to ensure that our clients have the best day possible.
What are some helpful tips that you can offer for couples?
I think the first thing is to be honest with your vendors regarding your budget. You really need to know how much money you have to spend right off the bat. Once you know what your overall budget is, the next thing to remember is 50 to 60% of your overall budget is your food and beverage. So you have to find your venue and or caterer before I suggest booking anybody else for your wedding, because you need to know what that actual working budget is for your DJ, for your photographer, videographer, favors, photo booth, lighting, whatever it is that you desire, flowers, decor, rentals, etc. So if you're honest up front about the budget, that's a huge, huge thing. And the other thing is, we're really lucky today. You don't have to be a cookie cutter wedding. you can really celebrate who you are as a couple and bring out your personalities on your special day. So I really enjoy working with couples that'll really celebrate themselves that day. And I think that their guests have a much better time doing so. So I always tell my couples, celebrate who you are and let's create an event that's really one of a kind.
From an entertainment perspective too, so instead of just addressing the bride and groom as the bride and groom, putting a personal touch on it, Paul and Jessica, or introducing the wedding party by name, and then fun facts about them, big Mets fan, friend from college,
Right.
these different personalities. So people are all connected during the wedding day and know how those people are related to the bride and groom as well. So making it personalized, because there's just too many weddings that are out there where there is entertainment and the DJ or MC does not have a sense of who the couple is. So a lot of that pre-planning that we do ahead of time when we sit down for those 2 planning meetings is getting to know the couple, devoting that time and those hours in to find out who they are so they feel comfortable. The day of, they can sit back and relax and enjoy themselves.
I completely agree. And here's a really simple story. I had a DJ about 4 years ago that didn't write down or didn't comprehend that the groom did not go by his given name. So he had a middle name that he went by. And everybody kept hearing the announcements, and the groom's name to all of his guests was incorrect.
Yeah.
And it was something so simple that he didn't realize. And then all of a sudden when he was dancing with his mom, the mom actually yelled his middle name out to the audience, and everybody started applauding.
Good for her, yeah.
And I was like, thank goodness. And I kept going up to him and I was like, this is the name he goes by. And he's like, it's not on my paperwork. And I was like, no. So you're absolutely right. You have to get to know these people. You're being asked to be there on what should be the biggest day of their life. So it's super important that they know us and we know them.
Right. And to care, as you do, for sure. Are you running any specials for couples right now?
I do. I actually always run specials throughout the year. So if you go to my Facebook page for Creative Concepts by Lisa, or if you go onto Wedding Wire, where I have advertisements as well, you'll always see the current offers. So there's always something special. But if you are booking in 2017, I am definitely running some specials. And those are kind of based on the 3 different packages. So I'd give you a different percentage off for available dates in 2017. And if you ever work with any of my preferred vendors, like Jim, then I offer a special offer as well. So all you have to do is mention who you're working with for your vendors, and I give you a special discount for that too.
So you have your Facebook page for couples to get in contact with you, also on Wedding Wire. What is the best way to get in contact with you?
So you can always go to my website, which is creativeconceptsbylisact.com. But I'm on every form of social media, so you can always find me. And my hashtag is CCBLCT, or you can just give me a call at 475-441-7123. And that's in Hamden, Connecticut.
So for any couples who are feeling overwhelmed and want to alleviate this stress, contact Lisa. She'll be in very good hands with her. Lisa, thanks so much for coming on the show. It was great chatting with you and finding out about your services. I think a lot of couples will be interested in finding out more when they contact you.
Well, Jim, I really appreciate your time. And like I always say to couples, it is never too late to ask for help. So don't be afraid to reach out. Even for 2017 events, we're still booking strong.
Stay tuned next week for episode 10, more back on the Wedding Channel. Thanks.